My fellow traders, what's happening? Man, today did not start out the way I wanted it to. I actually overslept today. I woke up like I normally do every morning. I got the room brought up, got the scan streaming, and do what I always do. You know, I grab something to eat, I sit down, and I watch Squawk. And I watch it until 8:30, and it's time for me to come on and do my thing. Well, evidently I fell asleep this morning watching it. I don't know if somebody boring came on and just put me to sleep. But I woke up at like 9:20 something. So I came in, I didn't have a watch list. I wasn't prepared for the morning. So all I had up were the stocks that were on my list yesterday and what's normally up there, like BA and ROKU and stuff. So I really didn't have a watch list of nothing. So I just kind of sat tight and just kind of chilled out. But the day still didn't work out for me. We'll talk about that. We'll go into that here in a minute. But one question I want to ask you today is, at what cost? And what I mean is, sometimes we tend to lose what we have chasing what we think we want. And everything kind of comes at a cost. In trading, if we move too fast, it costs us. If moving too slow doesn't really cost us anything, but moving too fast can cost us a lot. Money, time, our families. So you have to think about it before you make any decision. At what cost? At what cost am I making this decision? We get, and a lot of times we do it anyway. We move on. We don't think about the cost. We get to where we want to be, and we realize that we lost so much value getting there that it's worthless to us. So we have to stop sometimes and think. At what cost am I going to pay for making this decision? Now I'm not saying everybody that's moved on has come back, but I do get a good number of traders who leave because they say, well, these people over here, they have all these other people, and there's so many trades we can take throughout the day and all of that, and that's fine. But at what cost are you exposing yourself? When you trade and you chase trades all day, you are exposing yourself to a little bit more risk. I think I talked about it yesterday. So if you want to trade, you have to make the decision. It's just like if you're going to scalp. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it, but you have to understand what the costs are and be prepared for it. So, for me, that's why when I make decisions, I'm always asking myself, at what cost am I making this decision? Where is it going to put me in the grand scheme of things? So just think about that when you start to change stuff centered around your trading. If you ask yourself that simple question and you think through it, sometimes you may not make the decision that you're about to make, and it keeps you out of trouble. So just wanted to share that with you real quick. So the spot of the yesterday, we started out really good. We had that little push up, and then the market just rolled over all the rest of the day. Really profitable for us day traders. Okay, it hurt my swings. No doubt about that. All of my swings, whatever little bit it had at the end of last week, it pretty much gave back and then some yesterday. Didn't get me to my stop level. None of them hit my stop, but it took all the value out of it. And so this morning, I was honestly and truly prepared for all of them to stop me out. But that was fine because I was ready to go. And, I said if Roku sells off again or BA, one of these guys get going, I'm going to make a ton of money. It's not going to even worry about. It'll be day trading day, not swing trading day. But as we see, the market didn't do that. It did open on a little gap down, but it didn't immediately sell off. It actually, the first 2 or 3 candles of the day, 5-minute candles, actually ticked up. And, then we had a little bit of selling. And, then it kind of settled in for the rest of the day. But you can see how it closed very strong. This is like one of the strongest bull candles you can get. So, what are we looking at for tomorrow? Based on what we see, I'm expecting it to continue to track up and give us some opportunities, some value to the long side. It doesn't have to do that. It can open up, gap down below the 20. Who the hell knows what's going to happen overnight? That's the beautiful thing about this market. What makes it exciting. We don't know what we're going to wake up to the next day. We could look at the technical analysis, and we can have an opinion or a thesis based on what the chart's telling us, but it doesn't have to be right. And you don't have to feel bad if you're not, because you didn't take a trade based on your thesis. You have a thesis, but if it doesn't prove to be true, you're ready to take a trade, whether you're right or wrong. So it's always good to, have an opinion, but just don't try to force it on the market. Let the market really tell you what it's going to do. So for me, I'm thinking we're coming back up. I'm thinking we're going to try and, catch 325. But I honestly thought that's where we were headed today or yesterday, but didn't quite get there. But I'm thinking that we can hit 325 if things continue on. So the bulls, man, they're strong. The bulls are sitting there with their chest stumped out, saying, mess with us if you want to. All right, so Roku. Yesterday, I accidentally left that 100 shares on. If you remember yesterday, here it is. I left 100 shares on this last, late day trade. I was trying to catch the fade. So we got the first target, and a lot of times after 5 o'clock, between 5 and 6, we lose some more value. And I was kind of waiting for that. Completely forgot about it and left the position on. So this morning when we opened, I was kind of excited. I was thinking, hey man, this might be good, because we opened here and we started selling, but then we got ripped right back up, and so I had to stop out at break even, just a little bit before break even on that position from yesterday. But it started out thinking that, hey, got a positive mistake here, but it didn't quite work out that way. There's no way I was going to hold it, because I had no idea we were going to reject up here and pull all the way back. You just don't know. So you have to stick to your plan, and I did, and I took it off here. So I waited, and this thing finally came back down. Now you see, we did break the 5-minute opening range high, But guess what? There was no trade here because we had the 200 sitting here and we had the pre-market high sitting here. Not enough room for us to take this and make money. It wasn't clean. So there was no setup. It was no setup, no trigger to entry, nothing. So we pulled all the way back. We had this big candle, and I probably should have known not to get in on a candle like that, to just wait. But I did get in, and it came somewhat close to catching the first target I wanted to get on this. It came pretty close. Matter of fact, where I entered here was kind of around where I wanted to take profit here. But it didn't quite get there. It turned around and stopped me out. And it rejected again. So now, I could have been aggressive and got back in here. But I was like, nah, I need to be conservative now. This market is not really feeling as aggressive to me as it was yesterday. So I waited. Once we broke the low, I got in, got my first target, came within maybe 20 cents or so of my second target. The spread was so bad on this that I think it hit 42.15. My target was 42.25, but the ask never came down. So my order was never filled. The ask never hit. So I never could get my order off. And we ended up bouncing, ripping back up, break even, stop out. But this was a really good look. And this is what I do. This is my MO. Just be patient. When I get locked in on something and I'm going to wait until it gives me another opportunity. I know Roku is one of those stocks that when it's volatile, you can get paid. But here again, it just didn't it didn't do its thing today. So, and you can see later on in the day, it really didn't give any more opportunity. Here it put in this channel right here at the top and right here at the bottom initially. When it broke the bottom of this channel, that's when I pounced on it. All right. I waited for it to get under this channel. Even though this would have been a decent trade, I wasn't aggressive taking that opening range again. I waited until it set up for me. So this is just one of those cases, and this happens a lot. A lot of times if we take a trade and it works, if we had anticipated it and got in early, we still would have made money. But you can't think about it that way. There's a reason why we have entry triggers and why we have to stick with them. Because the next 2 times I can jump the gun and get blown up 2 or 3 times and just get blown up. And this one trade is not going to take care of that. So you have to be smart about it. Stay disciplined. And that's my deal. Just stay disciplined and don't go jumping in chasing these stocks. All right, so okay, that was yesterday. So later on in the day, we're watching mRNA. This one has some news. I think the human trials are starting later this month or the end of this month or something. So it did have some news on it today, but we had some big time selling here, and then it kind of bounced and kind of got into this channel. You can see where we set the top just above the opening range high, set the low, and we just kind of traded in this for a while, and you could clearly see we were gearing up. We hit the opening range high once, twice. On the third time, we finally broke through it. So I waited. This candle closed above the channel here that it put in. and because it worked its way over the opening range high, and the channel got in, and it failed. It just didn't have the push. It did not have the push. The market ripped up. This stock sold off. So it went opposite the market. So we had some people that they're keeping this down. They're keeping it down. You know, and then, you know, as we speak, as I'm doing this recap, the damn, let's see, it's at 77 now. It's all the way up here. Now, it hits almost 78. I mean, as we are talking right now, as a matter of fact, let me see. I still have my Thinkorswim chart up. Matter of fact, let's look at this thing. I mean, I glanced over at my chart just now and look at this. 79.80, guys. Almost $80. Really? So why couldn't it do that while we were trading it? And look at the market. I don't know. The president was supposed to speak at 5, so maybe that's that. And I was just about to joke. I was about to throw a joke out. When I was sitting here and this thing was coming down, and I was like, I need the president to come in and say, you know, stop the playing, please, and let it go. But didn't quite work out today. But you can see it's all about being in the right place at the right time. We all have thesis. You know, we all, in our minds, we all know what we want. We see from the market. We know based on technical analysis where a stock is likely to go. We can feel the sentiment and all of that. But sometimes it just doesn't work when we feel it should work. There are other people, other elements in play that will slow the roll. And, you know, we don't get it. So I'm just going to wash off today. No, you know, I'm happy that everything that I'm thinking was right. I didn't make any mistakes. I'm still focused on disciplined execution. I didn't roll the dice or anything. Everything was controlled. I managed my risk. So I'm happy going into the evening, happy coming into tomorrow. You know, the only thing I messed up on this morning was I overslept. And I still don't understand how that happened. Because I didn't do anything last night. I went to bed like I normally do. Watching Memphis Street Outlaws, and that was that. So I don't know. We'll see. But you guys have a great night, a great evening, and I'll go outside and do some shouting right now.